Sudden, rich, broken love. Episode 1. The city moved with its usual restless energy cars, rumbling through narrow streets, people rushing home from long work days, and neon lights flickering against old apartment buildings. But for Liam, everything around him felt dull and muted, as if someone had turned down the volume of the world. He walked slowly, hands tucked into the pockets of his worn-out jacket, the evening breeze brushing against his tired face. For most people, the night was ordinary. But for him, it felt like the end of something he wasn't ready to lose. Just a few hours earlier, Liam believed he had at least one part of his life figured out. He didn't have wealth, success, or opportunities. But he had love. He had her. She had been his comfort in a life full of struggle. His safe place, his escape. But today, in a small cafe downtown, everything crumbled. Liam could still recall the way she sat across from him, avoiding his eyes, fidgeting nervously with her phone, lips pressed into a firm line. At first, he thought she was stressed from school or work. He tried to reassure her. He tried to understand. But then she finally said it, and her words tore through him like a blade. She couldn't stay with someone who had nothing to offer. She needed stability, a future, a partner who could give her more than broken dreams and empty pockets. She didn't want a man who was always struggling. She didn't want him. Liam remembered the sting in his chest as she walked away, the slow, painful realization that love wasn't enough. Not for her. Not in a world where money meant everything. He had tried not to break down in public. He kept his expression neutral as he left the cafe, but with every step, the truth sank deeper. He wasn't just heartbroken. He felt humiliated, unworthy, small. The walk back home felt longer than usual. Every memory with her replayed in his mind, her smile, her warmth, the promises they once made. And now all of it felt stupid, one-sided, fragile. By the time he reached the old apartment building, the sadness inside him had settled into something heavier, something that nearly made it difficult to breathe. The building stood like a tired skeleton, cracked walls, chipped paint, and a stairwell that always echoed with the sound of footsteps. It was all he and his mother could afford, but it was home. Liam climbed the stairs, slowly. Each step carried the weight of everything he tried not to feel. The sting of rejection, the shame of being poor, the fear that maybe he wasn't meant for more. When he reached the apartment door, he paused and drew in a shaky breath. He didn't want his mother to see his pain. She had already suffered enough, raising him alone, working long shifts, sacrificing everything. He wanted to be her strength, not another burden. He forced his face to relax, wiping away whatever traces of tears were left, and opened the door quietly. But the moment he stepped inside, he sensed something was off. The apartment, usually filled with some kind of noise, his mom cooking, the TV murmuring in the background, or music playing from her phone, was strangely silent, almost tense. His mother was standing in the middle of the living room, holding her phone as if it had just revealed something impossible. Her mouth was slightly open, her eyes wide with disbelief. She didn't even notice he had walked in at first. She looked, shaken. When she finally turned and saw him, her expression changed. Shock slipped into worry, and worry deepened into something like fear. Liam had never seen that look on her face, not directed at him. It made his chest tighten in confusion. He stepped inside, dropping his bag near the door. His mother stared at him, as if she was still processing two different worlds at once, the message on her phone and the pain hidden in her son's eyes. He wanted to ask her what was wrong, but she was staring at him like he was what was wrong, like she had just realized something terrible. Before he could form a thought, she reached out slightly, then stopped midway, as if unsure whether to comfort him or question him. In that moment, she finally noticed the redness around his eyes, the exhaustion on his face, the crushed look he was trying so hard to hide. Her heart faltered. Liam avoided her gaze, trying to keep himself together, But she could see the truth, even in the way he stood. Shoulders slumped, breathing uneven, spirit dimmed. She knew her son wasn't okay. And she knew it wasn't just tiredness. She took a step toward him, her voice soft, almost breaking. But Liam had no strength left to pretend. The heartbreak of earlier slipped through the cracks, and the silence between them deepened. He didn't have to say it out loud. His mother already understood. Earlier that day, the girl he loved, the girl he thought he had a future with, had walked out of his life because he was broke, because she believed he would never become anything more, because she didn't want the burden of waiting for him to succeed. To her, love wasn't enough, and seeing her son shattered by that truth, his mother felt a pain deeper than anything she had endured alone. She wanted to hold him, tell him he deserved better, tell him the girl had been blind. But before she could comfort him, her eyes drifted back to the phone in her hand, the message she had received moments before he walked in. Behind him, his mother stood frozen in place, staring once again at her phone screen. The message was still there. Impossible. Unbelievable. And she knew that once she told Liam, nothing in their lives would ever be the same. Episode 1 ended not with an answer, but with a question. What secret had been sent to his mother? And why now? On the night his heart had been broken. What Liam didn't know was that destiny had already begun rewriting his future.